Dive into the chaos, here we go. Social media lunacy steals the show. Crazy sin just means wrapped up tight. Scroll through the madness every night.
Okay, after I think it's been 2 weeks, we are back. We're doing this again. I am Dylan Thomas, and I've got Futon with me.
And if you want to hear our robot voices, that will be in the link in the description.
I'm tempted now.
Oh, that's someone else.
I've got a robot voice filter. I could do it.
We could just take his whole shtick.
Yeah, put back on the voice filter. But yeah, it's been a bit. I've had a lot of shit going on, and I haven't been able to record, but now I can. And sadly, I missed my opportunity to talk about Ethan Ralph crying over the death of a squirrel. So today we're going to be talking about Nick Rekieta. That's who we're going to be talking about, Nick Rekieta.
Good old rackets.
So I'm going to give my little brief history of how I know Nick Rekieta, and then I'm going to let Futon do like an actual proper discussion on Nick Rekieta. So with my understanding of Nick Rekieta as like a layman who's only like sat on the sidelines, Nick Rekieta started becoming relevant during the Johnny Depp trial. And when he was doing the Johnny Depp stuff, I know that a lot of those people blew up, and that Umbrella guy still, I think, covers exclusively Johnny Depp stuff. Like, he's been going after Amber Heard for like 4 fucking years. After that popped off, he tried to hop onto a few other big cases, but it didn't really go anywhere. And I know that his legal advice fucked over Vic Mignogna, because he told Vic Mignogna that he should countersue. And the countersuit was a complete failure because Nick Rekieta recommended him a family friend who wasn't even qualified to cover the legal stuff that he was doing in that case. So Vic Mignogna got completely fucked over by Nick Rekieta. And since then, Nick Rekieta's been kind of spiraling to where like he started showing symptoms that he was on some type of substance. He started lashing out at people over and over again. He just seemed like he kind of became irrelevant until like people like Kino Casino started covering him. And when I heard about him again was with Baldo Gate. And Baldo Gate is where he was going around shilling a sex toy. This sex toy is known as the Baldo. And apparently the Baldo is a dildo that you wrap onto your balls. And
it's something that I've always been very happy that when I see it, I don't quite understand how it works.
Well, I unfortunately do know how it works. So if you don't want the illusion ruined for you, click off now, mute it for like a minute or 2.
Well, part of that is a cope on my part, because yeah, I think I know, but I'm
Nick Rekieta told a horror story about the Baldo. So basically, the Baldo is supposed to be for people who can't get their dick hard, or for people who want to try DP, but I don't even think you can do that. It
would be difficult, but yeah.
It wraps onto your balls, and you have these rings to get it to stay on your balls. And he talked about how he tried 1 ring, and 1 ring was fine. But then when he tried 2 rings, and then he just got deathly silent and just started like having a PTSD flashback. And he said it was unpleasant. So horrible things happen if you put 2 rings on the Baldo to hold it in. But I think the nicest way to consider a Baldo is it's kind of like a cuck cage. It's like a device that wraps around your genitalia and imprisons you. And he was shilling for this device, and he was like, promoting it out of nowhere. No one knew what the fuck was going on with him. Then, like, he started saying that he went to the islands to go on vacation. And people started, like, trying to figure out if he was at a swinger club called Hedonism, if his wife was, like, hooking up with Jamaican men. They were, like, trying to figure out a bunch of things, and he kept drip feeding the information so people could actually, like, do detective work to figure out what the hell he was doing. And eventually it does come out that he went to a place called Hedonism. They participated in a swinger event. He insists that it wasn't on BBC night, but there's no way to prove that.
That he was there for a different event. Yeah, that was 2 weeks earlier.
Yeah, he's tried to cope his way out of it numerous times. You can either say that he went there for the wife swap, or he went there for the BBC. One or the other. You can say either or. One
of the more recent things is that he says one of his copes is that he was there for an act of altruism, where there was a Jamaican prostitute who needed his help to get an abortion.
Yeah, definitely not a prostitute he knocked up.
And you can't get an abortion there, from what I understand. He just got completely ripped.
Anything modern from him, you can't trust it, because he's just lying and coping. Any type of revisionism, like, you can't trust it, because he's been lying non-stop. We'll get into more about his lies as this continues on, but basically, that opened up the idea of him being a degenerate, the swinger event, and the Baldo. But then he decided to cross over with an irrelevant nobody bum who ran, and that's me saying that, who ran a show called Steel Toe USA or whatever. Steel Toe Morning Show. Yeah, and it's sponsored by some shitty bar. He crossovered with that guy, and they were doing what would be infamously known as the hot tub stream, which is where they got together. Like, he brought his wife, the steel toe guy, Aaron, and Nick brought his wife, and they were all being weird in a hot tub. And I think that they were on ecstasy, but there's nothing to prove that they were on ecstasy. But they were, like, getting really close to each other. I think they were licking each other. And it wasn't just, like, the men and women. It was the men licking the men.
By weird, what Dylan means is when Aaron stuck his toe up Rekieta's ass.
It was fucking strange. But Nick would cope and say that it was just a friendly event, nothing naughty was going on, even though they were joking during the stream, saying that it was a swinger thing and that they were there to swing. It would turn out later that they had been swinging, and that the steel toe guy and his wife moved in with Nick Rekieta for a time. And while they were there doing their weird orgy stuff, Nick Rekieta was neglecting his children. He was feeding them nothing but SpaghettiOs. And he was just letting them call some random woman their mom. And he was basically being abusive to his kids. And I know that neglect is a type of abuse, so I'm gonna say abusive. It would then later get a whole lot worse when Aaron left, and then he started accusing Nick Rekieta of being on drugs. And the drugs thing would get a whole lot worse when Nick Rekieta would get busted with drugs. So it turned out that Nick Rekieta is a coke fiend. He had quite a bit of cocaine. For a bit there, Nick Rekieta tried to say that it was the Joe Biden administration that was doing a massive cover-up to try to, like, silence Nick Rekieta because he's a big hotshot lawyer in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, has to shush him up. But as things have gone on, we've gotten things like his daughter testing positive for cocaine. It looks like that his wife might be completely out of the picture at this point. She's MIA, no one's seen her for weeks. He's talking about running off and getting married to the steel toe guy's now ex-wife. And it's just a nightmare. That's my summary of it. You can go on yours now and give a way better detailed summary.
Okay, so I start with the origin stuff, or start with
Just start
what's
where you
going on
want to,
now and move
origin
backwards?
or whatever.
Okay. All right. I'll start. Yeah, I'll start near the beginning and then try to go quickly through to where we are now and fill in some of those blanks.
Yeah, because you know more about him than I do. He kind of just popped in and out of relevancy for me. He kind of just appeared at times and then fucked off for a long time and then did something stupid again and came back like over and over again.
Well, we're starting out. Kind of have to go before his birth. His grandparents were got a lot of oil money, very rich. Got opened up you know how you have like the hospital wing that's dedicated to someone's dead wife.
Yeah.
Well, this guy had his grandfather kind of had a whole hospital built in his grandmother's name. In Nick Rekieta's grandmother's name. So, a lot of money going to him. They're in from Texas. For some who knows what reason, Rekieta got shipped off from Texas to Minnesota. And he's kind of been living off of that money. He's never had to work. When he did work, let's see which one first. There's two work stories that really tell you something about him. Where with one office he was supposed to do not even cold calls. These were warm calls. For people who don't know, a cold call is when you call out for a business to try and get customers and you know absolutely nothing about the person that you're calling, and it's just absolutely miserable work. And he was working warm calls where these are people who you already know the names of, you know what they're interested in, and these are like, if you say, sign me up for these offers, like those are the kind of people that Nick was supposed to call. And Nick was, well, I don't want to do this because my supervisor isn't doing it as well. His supervisor was going home for the day, and he decided, well, if he's going, I'm going too. Ended up getting fired from there. Big entitlement issues he's always had. And the other was when he's trying to start his own law practice. So he approaches a local guy. Local guy says, great, we're not looking for someone to join our practice, but we have a basement office. You can have that. We'll funnel people to you for that. And Nick's like, bet. But he's very unhappy with the fact that he's not getting the primo clients. When you're going to get their dregs. You're going to get the people who are up on drug charges, and they're going to start moving up from there. I was gonna say, here we're starting out. So going through there, the guy's feeling irrelevant, and he decides, who should I try to attach myself to, because I'm just pissing off everyone in my area, and I'm popping out kids. According to him, he was a virgin until he met his wife in college. He was a male cheerleader, lots of weird things.
Isn't he part of some branch of Christianity, like one of the weirder ones? Like, wasn't he like part of that, and that's why his life was kind of predetermined for him?
I think he's just like bog standard Lutheran, something
Lutheran,
around there.
I think that was it. Yeah.
So he really resents that.
Yeah,
I think that was another
faith,
thing that he was pushed into.
I think the Lutheran faith, it expects you to have a family. It expects you to have a wife. It expects you to have kids. And I think his parents pushed him to have a wife and kids because of that. So I don't know if he ever wanted to have a wife or kids to begin with.
I believe that the kids are a prerequisite for the house that he's in. It's the house is part of the trust fund. And so there are other family members that are supposed to be there in the trust houses, and he kind of elbowed them out. And like having the kids was a part of being able to push those people out. And there is a second house on the property that is also part of the trust. And there is a very convenient reason for having that house empty. So, boy, there's a ways to go to get for there.
Yeah.
So this guy who offered him the basement office, he absolutely hates him now. Nick just couldn't comprehend that someone doesn't like him, because one of the things that Nick does over and over and over, he thinks it's a power move to deliver legal papers at the very last moment.
Yeah,
And
he
everyone
thinks Phoenix Wright is the best lawyer.
Mm-hmm. And that when you're doing this absolutely does not piss off opposing counsel. This does not piss off the judges. This does not piss off the aides. This doesn't piss off the pages. It pisses off absolutely no one associated with. It's just as he would always say, it's funny. It's just funny. He doesn't even play things off as jokes. Everything is just funny or weird. Like, wouldn't it be weird if we kissed? We're not actually gay, but, it would be kind of funny.
Do you think he's smart enough to actually get his legal license, or do you think he just paid for one?
Well, one of the problems recently was that he lost his law license for a while. And that was because he didn't pay.
Yeah, do you think he actually passed the schooling? Like, do you think he's actually smart? Because, like, from what I've seen, he's lost almost every single lawsuit he was a part of. And when he tried to defend himself
there's a lot of stupid lawyers. There's a lot of stupid lawyers, to be fair. He wasn't a Harvard boy. We'll put it there that way. But yeah, I believe his law license is legitimate.
I think it's also alleged that he graduated from one of the top 10 worst law firm schools in the US.
Hard to say. Like, those lists tend to be pretty political.
Okay.
But I don't think it was triple T tier. Like, the triple T is toilet tier. Toilet paper tier. So, like, there's like well below F tier is where those are, the ones that are completely just political. Like, you go through and it's like, for a lot of political careers, you can, like how they always say in their ads, like, I've been a lawyer for this many years, and they're just like paper licenses that are given out by these diploma mills. And those are almost always political to help people get credentials to put on their politician credentials.
Yeah.
Let's see, where were we? With attaching himself to people. So his first entry into YouTube, he's looking for an eDaddy. And the eDaddy that he latches onto is Dick Masterson. Let's see, you want to fill in the intro that Null always has for Dick Masterson?
Juju the cow, the guy who dresses up like a cow and gets fucked dressed like a cow. I think that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dick Masterson, aka Dax Herrera, aka Juju the cow, aka the guy who dresses up as a cow and gets fucked in the ass. Yeah.
Wasn't it like a pink strap-on dildo he got fucked with? Like a sparkly pink strap-on dildo?
One of the problems is that we're taking the ex-girlfriend's word for it, but the thing is that it's a lot funnier to believe the ex-girlfriend. So that makes it true.
Yeah, we all know Dick Masterson has never just run with hearsay to smear someone. Dick Masterson is a very credible source.
He's running his empire out of his Barbie doll mansion.
My Barbie dream house. Literally a fucking shack.
God knows what the rent is for that shack, though.
I think he owns it. I think he like got his dad to buy the estate and he owns it. But anyway, bringing up Dax. I don't think we need to give a history lesson of him. Like, everyone should know who he is. We'll probably do a video on him later. If this is the near future where we actually do that, just go watch that video.
Sorry, yeah, my connection skipped. But, so, at this moment, Dex Herrera was getting involved with the lawsuit. The lawsuit is with this whole mess where Dick Masterson has his own E-Daddy that he worships, and that is, and he was from, like, the golden early age of the internet, and that's a whole story in it itself. But as the lawsuit was kicking off, Rekieta sees his chance. He opens up with doing, "Hi, I'm a lawyer going to do legal analysis of the lawsuit. I'm going to explain the interwebs," was its whole thing. And another big warning point here is that in this very first episode, he is drinking heavily.
Oh yeah, he had a whiskey. Like, he always has whiskey on him.
I don't remember if he, like, empties the entire bottle as he's doing this legal analysis, but it was pretty close, I believe. It's been a while since I watched it. But so we're going through there. He's finally has his E-Daddy. He finally has his community he's going to go through. He finally has his grift. So he goes through on all that. He moves on. As he's going through there, he tries to do analysis of legal stuff with Chris Chan, legal stuff with Darkside Phil, legal analysis with everything. And he quickly realizes that to sustain this, you have to have more than one community that you're grifting on. And with the legal stuff, they don't always last. So you have to go through cycles of communities that you go through. Things that the audience here might recognize is the Weebors. And with Kick Vic, and from there to Warhammer 40k, and just like all these different grifts that he would go into. He'd talk about a legal issue there, and then he'd drop everything, move to the next one. There are a lot of people, especially Mr. Sen. You're going to see a lot of stuff. If you look up Nick Rekieta, you're going to see a lot of streams by Mr. Sen about him. If you're wondering why that is, because Mr. Sen is definitely a sour grapes kind of kid. Rekieta was going to have him on as a guest for a Weebors thing. That's when Mr. Sen had his Lolicon art, got in trouble. Rekieta disowned him. Mr. Sen is, kind of had a hatred of him ever since. With the Kick Vic thing, it's like, as Dylan said, that he supplied his own estate lawyer, his family estate lawyer, to deal with the lawsuit of having Vic sue the people who had accused him.
Well, the thing is like, Vic basically won the first lawsuit. Like, when it came to like proving his innocence and like fighting off all the claims against him, He won with that. Like, he could have just walked off into the sunset and had a somewhat repaired reputation. But Nick Rekieta decided, no, I need to extend this. I need to fucking have this go on further. You need to fight this. Fight this, you'll win for sure.
Mm-hmm. And, you can always say, Vic's an adult. He could have said no. But, again, Vic will believe anyone who's, a upstanding Christian man. And that's what Rekieta's big grift was then, too, was his whole trad dad, who's also, he's the fun one. He drinks. He'll hang out with you. And, so he convinces Vic to do this thing because if Vic said no, his own audience would have been all over him because this is during Weeb Wars, and Nick was the darling of any group that he would join, and he was still the darling of Kiwi Farms. He was kind of the mascot lawyer for everyone there. It was if Noel had a legal problem, Rekieta was the one that he would talk to.
Yeah, and Rekieta would publicly defend Kiwi Farms a lot.
Which a lot of people who defend Kiwi Farms, there's a very specific point where they stop defending Kiwi Farms.
They're cool until they hate me. Then I have problems with them. The thing is like, don't hate the farms as a whole over shit like that. Get annoyed by individuals. Like, I think even Noel says that. It's like, it's the individual posters you have an issue with. There's like one or two people who dislike you, and yeah, they'll post information because they're an asshole. But like, the problem is with those guys. The thing that he wants is like for people like that to get banned, and Noel's trying to go for freedom of speech in general. Like, Noel isn't completely irrational. When someone posts like illegal shit, you can reach out to him and he'll take it down. When people post copyrighted shit, for the most part, you can reach to him and get it taken down. I've had copyright stuff removed from there before. So it is completely possible to reach out to him and get stuff removed. But Nick Rekieta ended up hating the Kiwi Farms because as his controversies came out and as he kept getting mixed up in more and more drama, people were changing their opinions on him, and he couldn't handle that. So now he hates the Kiwi Farms.
And that came from the hedonism stuff, because he had really encouraged the farms to be obsessed with him. And so when he starts being hinky about what's going on there, then they're going after him. But so we've set the stage for him personally. He's a trust fund baby, but he resents the trust fund.
He got in a documentary over the Vic Mignogna shit, didn't he? Didn't he get in like a Vic Mignogna documentary? Or was it a Johnny Depp documentary? It might have been Johnny Depp.
It was Johnny Depp, and that's like that's one thing that Mr. Medicare was always very impressed and also very sad by, that they thought that Rekieta was going to be the one to cross over from the sector to the mainstream, and Nick just, as we see, just managed to completely fumble it.
Yeah, so he was in a more prosperous point than most people in that community get to. He had the opportunity to like get a show or to become like an actual entertainer.
Yeah, he could have had he could have parlayed that Netflix thing into anything that he needed to.
But who needs to be an entertainer when you can be a stand-up comedian?
Oh god, that thing was awful.
So I'm gonna go on a mini rant before you continue your thing. I've listened to Nick Rekieta's stand-up. I have watched
I'm so sorry.
hours of Nick Rekieta's stand-up, and I did not laugh one time. And I've laughed at some really bad jokes. I've told really bad jokes. I like dumb humor. I like things like The Room. I like So Bad It's Good. Nick Rekieta is so bad it's bad. Like, there's nothing to like about his jokes. The only time when his joke becomes funny is when you see someone else reacts to how bad his joke is. Like, he tells this infamous joke about a cop at Denny's, and like it literally became like the Christian "you don't have to tell me twice" but during the Stone Age, of people trying to reverse engineer every little word of that joke to try to figure out, one, how it's a joke, and two, how it makes sense, when like the joke is really easy to understand. It's just not funny. The joke is that cops don't understand what they're doing, and they don't understand the law, but they enforce it anyway. So a cop can't tell you what he ordered because he doesn't understand what he ordered. It's a really simple joke, but it makes no sense and it's not fucking funny. And that is like the key thing of Nick Rekieta's humor. He just says the N-word a bunch. He says the F slur a bunch. He says a bunch of fucking slurs, and then he just thinks it's funny. He's like your drunken grandpa telling you jokes. Like, he can't be funny at all, even though he's trying. And I would say, honestly, even though Dick Masterson is also incredibly not funny, Dick Masterson has at least made me laugh once. Nick Rekieta has never made me laugh. And I'd say don't quit your day job, but he did. He quit his day job, so he's fucked. He's fucked. He thought, get rid of lawyering, become a comedian online. That's the way to go.
There's a lot of resentment and wanting to be his daddy. He wants to be Dick Masterson very, very badly. But he can't write. He can't tell jokes. The being unfunny and thinking that he's hilarious goes back to college, with him meeting his wife, with him being a male cheerleader. One of his big things that he talks about, it was having, he would have underwear parties at his dorm with the other male cheerleaders. And if you thought I was joking with the whole, wow, if we pretended to be gay, wouldn't it be really funny and weird just to see everyone's reactions? It would be that stuff that he actually did.
It's okay as long as we have our socks on.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it even be funnier if... Yeah, and it just goes from there.
It'd be hilarious if you just let me fuck you right now.
Mm-hmm. And he just laments that the gay bar near him has stopped doing underwear parties. And when he's telling these jokes, he's talking to very serious people who are also very, very serious about their own trad dad.
Yeah. That's what made the cop at Denny's joke hilarious, because of the poor fucking sucker he was telling the joke to. It's like this proper stand-up lawyer. And he's just like, I don't get it. I don't get it. A cop at Denny's?
Well, proper... I don't know. I don't know if I describe Kurt that way.
Also, your favorite person, DSP, understood the cop at Denny's joke. He understood it. He got it.
Oh, God. Yeah. If it's a joke that DSP understands, you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. It's not a funny joke at all.
With Kurt of Uncivil Law, I think my favorite description of him is that he's set at 80% blur. So Rekieta is, he's this big bundle of resentments. He resents having been moved out of Texas. He resents the trust fund. He resents having the kids to maintain the trust fund. He resents that he didn't that his wife was his first sexual partner. He just resents the church for expecting anything of him. He wants the prestige of of homeschooling everyone within the church because, you know, he's this big smart guy. But then as he becomes more depraved, the church says, no, we don't want you homeschooling the kids. So he resents them as well. You know, starts showing up at services drunk, and his wife is turning into more of a crackhead skeleton as you go through there, because they record their services. And a very depressing thing to do is just kind of like time lapse through all of those recordings and just see just what happened to them over the years. Like, people do the side-by-side comparisons
you mean
of him
like
like
3 years.
4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago, and now, and then 6 months after that. Like, if you take that image and you just stretch it out over where you get to see every single week, and you get to see Kayla there as well, it's just depressing stuff.
I mean, you can track it with his side piece, April. April's aged like 10 years in 1 year.
April, yeah, that poor... Yeah.
No, not poor anything. She's a homewrecker.
It's kind of hard to fill in what to say after that.
She got Aaron to cheat on his wife with her, and then when Aaron became a boring husband, she got Nick to cheat on his wife with her. Like, she just goes into marriages and fucking steals people because she's a heartless harpy.
And
I say with her, it's fucking Joker moment where it's like, you get what you fucking deserve. You get what you fucking deserve. You make Nick Rekieta your lawyer, he doesn't fucking show up to your case. You make Nick Rekieta your dad, he ends up fucking you over. That is what happens. If he didn't feed his kid SpaghettiOs, he's not gonna help you.
Well, to be fair, Nick does deserve a, 5 out of 10 at best.
5 out of 10 at what?
At best for April. She is the definition of Midwestern.
Oh yeah, no. She's not even attractive. She's really not even attractive. They only call her the hot wife because she's standing next to Kayla. And I don't know why people think either of those women are attractive. They look like the fucking women you see hanging around motels. Not even hotels. Motels. They look like motel call girls. They look like the type that ask you for a $5 bill when you're walking by. Like, yeah, no. They are not by any means attractive. But I've learned something on the internet. The only women that get called attractives are like the one that have like huge tits regardless of the weight, and the girls that are like super fucking small. Those are like the only people that get called cute on the internet. You have to be one or the other. Because the internet is just sex craved. That's all they fucking think about. They don't actually like look at someone's face. They don't ever look at these women's faces and see if they're like fucking butterfaced or not. Anyone who calls Lady Rackets attractive, I look at you strange, because she is not. She is not attractive at all. She looks like she smells of cigarette smoke.
It's gotten pretty bad with her.
She looks like she would talk like this.
Well, to be fair, I don't know. One of the major things with her, like, Nick is resentment, and she is insecurity.
Yeah, definitely.
We're starting to get into the point where
I don't blame her with putting up with Rekieta, because she got married out of high school. She got with this guy who has money. He knocked her up with a bunch
college,
of...
but
you know what I mean.
It was just a year or two into it.
Yeah. He knocked her up with a bunch of these kids. He got her to focus her whole life around him. And now he's falling the fuck apart. And she's trying to figure out what she's gonna do. Right now, she's just clinging to him because he has money still. He has security still. But if she leaves him, what the fuck is she going to do? What does she have going on? What opportunities does she have other than doing a job that she would consider to be beneath her? And she has to take care of, like, how many kids do they have? Alone?
5.
5 kids alone? My family had 4 kids with 2 incomes, and it still was really fucking hard.
Well, as we'll see, her taking care of the kids is a very liberal interpretation.
Yeah, but if she was on her own, she'd have to.
In the same house.
If she was on her own, she'd either have to get a new fucking guy to take care of everything, or she would have to just accept her fate and die. Like, it's one or the other. You have to man up and do it, or get someone else who will man up and do it. So she'd have that option if Nick Rekieta runs off with his side piece. I guess now, since we've set up, like, all the typical stuff...
I've set up, like, almost all of the, like, opening psychology of who this guy is.
Yeah,
I think we're going through all of this. We get to him working through the different communities. You know, things are great. He's he's still got enough looks that he's keeping our audience there. And it's still just like various geek communities that he's building up through there. Things are great. And then we get the Johnny Depp trial. And this is the beginning of the end for him. Because what he gets here, he gets very, very easy money. He kind of invented what's called LawTube. And that is where you see it a lot in commentary, you see it in the sector, you see it everywhere. The person who makes the money is the one who hosts the debates, the one who hosts the blood sports, the one who hosts the discussions. And the important thing is to get people on who are interesting. And like what you see with Ethan Ralph, like the beginning of the end with Ethan Ralph was him thinking that he was the talent that people were coming in to see.
That he didn't need Gata.
And that Medicare owes me. Keemstar owes me.
Gata's a pedophile. I'm gonna go tell his college about it.
So Rackets would bring in the screen would be full of all the different types of lawyers that would be brought in. They would all, allegedly be experts in one type of law that would be being brought in. This made the career of a lot of people. One major person is Legal Mindset.
Legal Mindset? More like legal cocksucker.
And Legal Mindset is kind of the one who had the most credibility as he was defending Nick, and he took a lot of flack for where he was always kind of seen as the head of the nose guards. You'll see that a lot now. It's just like Barnes and what's his name? Not Gino, but just a very small amount of people that are left because they have nothing else.
I think someone made like a really funny parody of like Better Call Saul with Barnes, where like he was basically blaming Nick Rekieta's kids for like them starving and stuff. He's like, and kids are starving, who cares?
The closest thing that Barnes has ever had to legal victory was getting kicked off of the Wesley Snipes team before they lost the case. Barnes has never had a legal win. At least none of note.
Nick
and he
Rekieta
has always tried
claims
to attach
to,
himself
but no
to
one
trials.
can prove Nick has won anything.
Well, just to put how badly it is, he tried to attach himself to like Trump and Giuliani and people like that, and they said no. And these are people who accept people like Michael Cohen. So, those are the type of people that are left. but at this time, he still had very serious people. Like Kurt is a constitutional lawyer. And one of the ways that he kept these people around is there are, I'll say allegedly, but that he was doing profit sharing with these people. But he would be promising, we will be doing profit sharing in the future. And the future never happened. And people are finally starting to realize this. And those are the last of the people that are turning against him. So he called himself the Law Pope. He would do these very stupid things. And he would be able to get away with it because there are all these people who owed their careers to him. But as we get into the Depp trial, he finally gets a audience that he didn't expect to have, and one that he would never be able to get through his various geeky side projects of Weeb Wars and Warhammer and everything else. What he's got with Johnny Depp is the type of people who really, really follow Johnny Depp are the wine moms. And the wine moms are the ones who...
The type of that want to fuck Johnny Depp.
Mm-hmm. And they really resent Amber Heard because she is the obstacle to being with Johnny Depp.
Yeah, just fucking look at that Umbrella Guy's channel if you want to know more. He's got like 80 bajillion videos on Amber Heard.
So you can guess the dynamic that goes into these wine moms interacting with Nick Rekieta. And Nick Rekieta, they actually have direct access through his locals. Because one of the things that happens with being extremely with grifting the right wing on YouTube during that point was loss of monetization. With that threat of loss of monetization, with the constant attacks from the left that would be coming at his at the Minnesota law offices to try and get him disbarred, he started going into locals. He started branching out into different ways of getting money. As with locals comes direct access with those fans. And those fans were all very horny middle-aged women. They would start trying to get spicy with him in the chats. Kayla would see this. Kayla would start posting her own spicy stuff to try and compete with these women. This would build and build and build. And then as that boils over with that, and this is what turns Kiwi Farms against him. Because what gets leaked is a picture of Rekieta with a whiskey bottle in his ass cheeks.
There's also one of his wife.
Mm-hmm. This is a bridge too far for Kiwi Farms. They will accept a lot, but they will not accept cringe. And they will not accept when they worship the trad dad who is, one of us. They do not accept when the part that makes him a cool part of being one of us, with being a window to the outside world. That's no good for them.
Don't worry,
so as they start pushing...
Don't worry, he has the ultimate strategy to get back on Kiwi Farms' side. He's gonna call Noel, the owner of Kiwi Farms, in the shower.
Mm-hmm. And it turns out that's a thing that he does to everyone. And with any lolcow that doesn't know that they're a lolcow yet, he has to respond to everything. Whenever someone criticizes him, he has to start calling them from the shower. He has to react with a parody stream when he gets sick of Weeb Wars. He has to do a stream where he is cosplaying as a Twitch girl, surrounded by his kids' stuffed animals. And,
his Sailor Moon outfit.
Mm-hmm.
As someone who's been on both sides of the spectrum, talking about lolcows being seen as a lolcow. The thing that you need to learn is that you don't have to care. You don't have to care. You don't have to respond. Nothing of value will be gained by ever responding. The only time where a response is warranted is if you are being accused of something involving the legal system, and you can factually prove that you have not done anything illegal. And by then, you're not trying to disprove the haters. You are trying to not be seen as a literal fucking criminal. If someone's accusing you of being a pedophile, if someone's accusing you of being a drug addict, if someone's accusing you of doing something illegal that could get you hounded in real life, then respond to the haters. But if someone's accusing you of being a swinger sexual degenerate, and you secretly know that you are, maybe not responding would be the best option. Because that worked for me, is by just going back to not responding to randos, not addressing randos, not caring about what randos have to say. I think that's honestly like my one bit of advice to anybody who is seen as a lolcow, is just go back to not caring. Like, if you're someone like Bo Blacks or Rekieta or anybody who's had a fall off, you can go back to not giving a shit. You just have to stop caring about this. Don't read your Kiwi Farms thread. That's step 1. Don't talk to these guys about it. That's step 2. And step 3 is don't fucking spurg out about it on any platform. Don't vent about it on Discord. Don't vent about it on Twitter. Don't vent about it in offhanded discussions on YouTube. Quit addressing it. Let it die. You don't need to care what people think about you, because the more you grow, the bigger of an audience you're going to get, and the more people are going to fucking hate you. If you just keep obsessing over the hate, this is especially true with review tech. If you keep obsessing with the hate, you're just going to make the few people who like you also hate you. And they hate you because all you care about is what people think about you. Make content, and people will forget about why people hate you. Just make fucking content. That's what we do on YouTube. Make fucking content. Rekieta couldn't learn that. Bo Blacks hasn't learned that. Review Tech will never learn that. Just make fucking content and quit talking about your life and how everything online affects you.
This will scare you. How far is the furthest back that you have ever gone to argue with someone in the comments? How many hours, how many days, how many weeks old would a comment have to be for you to stop and say, I'm not going to interact with this?
If you're talking about me now, I don't address comments.
Like in the past, how old is the oldest comment that you ever spurged out at?
If it's less than a day old or a week old, I wouldn't even bother responding to it. I've never sat on a comment for like weeks and go, ooh, now I've written it. Here's my fucking manifesto. Have it now. Like 3 years later. Enjoy, fucker.
So, as of yesterday, how far back do you think Rekieta has gone in finding comments to argue with?
I know he left for like 2 months, so I'm gonna say 2 months.
6.
6 months. He found a comment from 6 months ago to respond to.
Multiple times this week, he has gone back and argued with comments that are over 6 months old.
Didn't he say something like he did a mountain of cocaine publicly on Twitter while he's being investigated for doing cocaine in response to one of those?
He also did that in chats recently.
Okay.
He, especially with... Oh, that's a whole thing.
I think now we can stop talking about the retrospective and just go into breaking Baldo news.
Well, we're actually getting into the important part of the history there.
Okay.
Because with the wine moms and everything else, this starts everything with what Kiwi Farms turns on him with. As things are going on with his wife trying to compete with these women, you have her losing, as he's telling his wine moms. There's a very infamous clip with him going on about how my wife's body is destroyed.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was so fucked.
So he keeps telling these wine moms that they are winning
Maybe
the
you
fight
shouldn't
against
have
his wife for his heart.
Maybe you shouldn't have your wife have 5 children. Like, maybe you should learn to pull out or fucking wear a condom or like anything.
Each kid means more money.
Oh, so then you have no reason to bitch about your wife's body being destroyed.
Well, he has a reason to bitch about everything.
He's entitled. That's why he's bitching.
Mm-hmm. Now, one of these wine moms that he reacts with is not a mom.
Oh, Mandy.
Oh, Mandy. Oh, Mandy. Mandy is...
Mandy.
Mandy is the one that Rekieta falls madly in love with.
She's a gal pal. Promised to him by God.
He is telling Mandy that he is trying to convince his wife to open their marriage to allow Mandy in. That if Kayla was out of the way, that he would do anything and everything for Mandy.
Mandy's like, okay, just put a banana peel on the stairs and just let nature do the rest.
He is promising Mandy the absolute world.
And he didn't even meet her. And he's promising a fucking rando that.
Yep. And of course, this whole time he has been catfished.
Yeah, because Mandy was a man.
Is actually Dan. And Dan has his whole thing. He's kind of just weird through there. There are a lot of people within Nick's sphere who interacted with him. One of Nick's major mods was also in love with Mandy.
I'm gonna say
they
this
were
now.
interacting with Camelot a lot.
I'm gonna go full Nostradamus mode. I think that fucking Nick and Kayla are gonna split. And then he's going to be with April for a bit. And then April's gonna see how much of a piece of shit he is in 5 years. And they're gonna split. And then he's either gonna get with someone who's barely legal, or he's going to either fall for a catfish pretending to be a minor, or someone who's actually a minor and get outed as a creep.
We are at a crossroads with that. And like, yeah, we are currently in the middle of a very... There are a lot of possibilities that branch off right now with Kayla and with April. Let's see. Okay, do we have all the things that are going into there? We have the pictures. We have the wine moms. We have Mandy. Let's see. Are we at Rumble yet? Okay, so we're going through with that. We're getting through Nick is getting flush with money with locals. He's realized, and YouTube money, of course, is very unstable. So he gets into the same thing with other people who starts getting their Patreons big, their locals big. They get it into their heads that this is free money.
Yeah, guilty. Guilty of that. When I was emotionally unstable a few years ago, yeah, you do kind of just lose track of it. Like, when it comes to Patreon, you have to remember that they're paying for you to produce content. And if you're not willing to produce content, then don't open those type of platforms. Don't have those platforms there. I used to be guilty of the same thing. Like, I've majorly downscaled my Patreon since then, and I think right now there's only like a support me option on Patreon. I haven't checked. Maybe I should update my Patreon soon, but just know the Patreons are because people like your content, and content is generally free. Don't even care about the Patreon money. Focus on making videos. But I can say that as someone who has a day job now, so like when you have other forms of money coming in, you can really kind of stay in the real world with it and not see it as like monopoly money. But Nick Rekieta, he quit his day job, so he's kind of fucked on that.
So we got that. We also have, as he's becoming more and more experimental with sex, he's bringing Drex into his life, and Drex is his whole thing. Drex is a admitted groomer. Drex's thing, to condense it as much as possible, Drex was dating a woman who had a 13-year-old. He took the 13-year-old to Disney. He's a big part of her life. And when she hits 18, he brings her to a BDSM club and takes her virginity.
Yeah, and Nick Rekieta...
The mother doesn't appreciate this
Nick
much.
Rekieta lets this man around his kids. Mm-hmm. And he has a daughter.
Absolutely. This is something that I have long theorized on. And with him getting into the Baldo, that Baldo that he's reviewing there, that Baldo is not his.
Yeah,
that Baldo is Drexel's.
Yeah, and he left it at Nick's house.
Drexel left it on the nightstand at Nick's, and Nick's, that was the first that Nick had touched it. Nick left another man's sex toy on the stand in his office for months.
Yeah. Before we get off of the discussion of the Baldo, because I don't think we're going to bring up the Baldo again, the funniest thing that happened with the Baldo is that a bunch of people started talking about the Baldo to make fun of Nick Rekieta, and the actual Baldo company took those clips and turned it into a commercial promoting the Baldo, and it even has Jim in it. It has Medicare promoting the fucking Baldo. So, Baldo win. Rare Baldo win.
Yep. So when I introduced normies to Rekieta, I showed them that Baldo review, and I show him debating with a cartoon turkey. So there is one of the things I always bring up with the normies is before even everything went to complete hell, I go, now, why would a married man who's in the middle of all the sex, why would he be interested in wearing a strap-on dildo? This is how we know just how bad drug use was. He was already basically impotent at this point.
I mean, you could
but
also
he's getting
say
more
it's
sex
whiskey.
obsessed.
Whiskey gives you limp dick too. So you could also say it was the whiskey.
Which is why he needed the Baldo.
Yeah. He can't fuck his wife anymore. He's sex obsessed and he can't get hard. I think it's even alleged that he can't use Viagra anymore, that it doesn't work on him.
So what do you do when you can't even do that? You bring in someone like Drexel. When your life is too messed up for even Drexel, you have to bring in people like Aaron. So as this blows up, after the Baldo, after the picture of a bottle on his ass, after those things condensed, end with Mandy. Those coalesce, and that's when Kiwi Farms breaks with him, and so this breaks his brain. So it goes because there is a lot of crossover between those audiences, except for the wine moms. The wine moms have no idea what Kiwi Farms is, and so they were the ones that were sticking with him with that. He starts going further and further down that path. As they were free money for him, he starts neglecting his YouTube more and more. He gets a contract with Rumble, and that contract with Rumble does not specify that he has to do a certain amount of workload. So he decides to do no workload. He offers perks for his locals. Those perks do not happen.
No,
he's
it's
supposed to
happening.
do
I promise you. The guarantee it's happening. He's gonna do all those shows he promised.
Oh no, there was a 5K locals gift promise.
Yeah, he'll do it. You gotta trust him.
And
It's all
this is
part
a
of the
big
5-year
bone
plan.
of contention. This is a big bone of contention for his fans. Is that he did this 5K sub promo that he was going to give these gifts out. He still doesn't know what those gifts are. And the reason that he cannot fulfill this is because it is impossible to mail 5,000 things. The US Postal Service does not allow for this.
I mean, what he could do is like,
This lawyer cannot figure out how to ship items through the mail.
he could do this. He could open up an online shop with some type of merchandise and then print off $100, like not $100, like 100% off discounts and just send them to people. And then they'll be able to get the things for free. And then the manufacturer is going to get pissed at him because they didn't make any money and they're probably going to charge him out the ass for it. But he could try that. He could try that and get it sent directly from the distributor. I can't do that anymore. I got banned from every fucking site.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm. I got banned from one because Futuristic Hub got mad that I was trolling him and reported me. And then I got banned from the last one because I put my Chris Chan shirt back for sale. And my ex Taylor thought that it'd be really funny for her to copyright strike the design. So I'm banned from literally every distributing site. Teespring, Redbubble, all of them. I can't sell merch now, even if I fucking wanted to.
I'll have to do it myself when this blows up.
My fucking DHT shirt is the only fucking thing. I've got it in the closet. And Chris Chan's Faded Ugly shirt. I don't even think Taylor made one of the shirts public. Let's not get off track though. Let's get into Breaking Baldo. I want to get into the Breaking Baldo saga.
Okay. So during this is the second thing that I always show people, which is with him arguing with Kiwi Farms. One of the other things that you never do as a content creator is you do not allow criticism that's coming from one platform to appear on your major platform. When someone's criticizing you on Twitter, you do not bring it up on your YouTube. But when he's doing his call-ins, someone calls in as a cartoon turkey and he starts debating hedonism with them. And they're both kind of doing the, isn't it funny, isn't it weird that people would allege these things, but the turkey's going through the whole thing of, and they're trying to make everything a joke out of it. But the thing is that his YouTube audience had no idea about that he had been following Jamaican prostitute, male Jamaican prostitutes on Instagram and all of these things. They didn't know about this, but they know about it now after he's bringing it up and saying, haha, isn't it funny that people think it's weird that I'm following male prostitutes in Jamaica when I was never in Jamaica in the first place, and I certainly wasn't there for this thing called hedonism too. And if I was, I would have been there 2 weeks earlier for this couples retreat. And so he is broadcasting all of this to people who would never know about it otherwise. Him broadcasting to other audiences about Mandy. So this is giving Human Farms more and more control over his life. So we got the cartoon turkey. We got the we have the ways of pushing his wife further and further to opening their marriage, and he goes on to Chrissy Mayer, and that's where he meets April. April had wormed her way into the marriage of Aaron Imholt. Aaron Imholt is a former kind of like morning zoo radio host up in Minnesota. So he has local fame. This is someone that a gold digger would want to attach themselves onto, despite the fact that he is a nut job. The reason that he got fired from his morning zoo thing was that he would do he did like this Watergate thing of like breaking into the offices of women and messing with them and trying to mess with his competitors, and he likes to really play up that he's this amazing boxer. And oh god, have you seen the footage of Aaron try to box?
I would have if he fought Ethan Ralph, but Ethan Ralph pussied out, so no, I haven't.
He is bad enough that his competitors have complained on social media about people who do not prepare. But goes he's still in and good enough to scare Ethan Ralph. Well, Ethan Ralph's scared of everyone. There's
call me 5'1" again.
The closest person that the closest that he'll come to actually fighting someone when he's sober is Riley. Because, it's not like Riley could defend himself. He needed Mint Salad to go in there and beat Ethan up for him.
Yeah.
But so basically Aaron is this total loser.
He's a bum.
Who does have some cachet within the area. He has enough paid pigs to kind of get through, sort of.
He's sponsored by some random shitty bar called like Stoney's or something.
Mm-hmm. And it's even debatable of whether they are even giving him money anymore. It's just that he just throws the stony steel toe thing behind him because it's been his branding for so long when he was at the radio, and it would just be a blow to his ego to his whole brand to not have a corporate sponsor attached.
We need to
it's debatable
from Stony. We need them to respond.
Yeah, he might be faking having a sponsor at this point. But so Rekieta and April get introduced on this show, with Chrissy Mayer even saying, "Hey, you two should get together." And get together they do. So he starts bringing Aaron further and further into his life. Aaron apparently falls in love with Kayla Somehow?
Okay. We're caught
That's...
up. Breaking Baldo time. No more niceness, no more presentability, no more fucking organization. Breaking Baldo time. So Nick Rekieta has decided to completely fucking ruin his life. For over 5 months, he was on cocaine, fucked out of his ass on drugs. He is constantly, like, looking around the room at things that aren't even there. He fucking calls up this rando who doesn't like him anymore, this Kiwi Farms guy called John. And he just starts being a major creep to John. And he basically, in all niceness, fucking, like, in all the favorability I can give Nick Rekieta, he tells him to go kill himself. That is basically what Nick Rekieta did. Nick Rekieta goes completely off the fucking loose end. He starts actually thinking he's a religious official. He starts preaching his fucked up version of Christianity to people. He slowly burns off anybody in his audience who might have liked him, who might have believed that he was trad something. And now the only cope that he has for losing everything is that it's the government, it's all a conspiracy, he's being framed. And the thing that's funny is like, I say judge someone by the people they keep around. And when it comes to Nick Rekieta, he's friends with Dax, who is called Diddler Dax. He is associated with Vito, who is Vito the Pedo. Ethan Ralph, who thumbed someone's butthole and then licked the fucking shit off of it, who was only barely legal when he did that too. He hangs around total fucking creeps.
Legal both in age and IQ.
Yeah, Drexel, the fucking guy who fucked someone who was barely legal, who was basically his kid. Like, everyone who he's around are total fucking creeps. And the people who weren't creeps, he chased out of his life. So, like, Nick Rekieta has shown 100% that he was never really the Christian man, the trad dad. He's not a fallen celebrity. He was always a piece of shit, and he just quit trying once he got all the money. Once he thought he won and that he didn't need to put on an act in front of people, he just stopped. Like, he used to pretend to not swear, he used to pretend to be like a functioning alcoholic. All of that went to the wayside the second that people started, like, telling him he's famous and he bought into his own hype. And it's fucking sad.
As soy as this may sound, the Dear John stream is possibly the only sustained rant I have heard from anyone in the sector that I would describe as evil.
Yes, 100%.
Like, the way that he sounds, the way that he moves, it...
None of your family even cared if you died, John. Like, he was a fucking lunatic, and John was someone who supported him financially, someone who, like, was a fan of his. And it's like, the thing is, you're not entitled.
I was on Thornton once.
He's not entitled to get your response, Nick Rekieta, but you also don't have to respond. If you don't have anything nice to say to the guy, don't fucking talk to him. You shouldn't be giving him that type of advice to begin with.
That is just how parasocial that he allowed things to get on his locals and then Rumble, was that he was the point of medical contact for this man.
Yeah, and then he fucking shit talks him and basically tells him to kill himself.
Can you imagine being on the medical paperwork for one of your subscribers?
No, it would never fucking happen. Ever. Like, I have called...
it's just absolutely insane. I
have called the ambulances on people who I know online who tried to do stuff. Not gonna say anything. But, I have gotten to that level. I've crossed the boundaries before. I've hooked up with fans. I've done things that cross the parasocial fucking boundaries, but like I've never gotten attached like he did. And
well, you've
this
never
is just
been
some
the
rando.
emergency contact.
Yeah, this is just some rando. He didn't know this guy in real life. He didn't ever meet him in person. This is just some fucking guy.
And he's that parasocially attached through Rumble.
He knew his fucking country of origin. He knew his country of origin. He knew all of his family members. And then he wanted to act like that it was just John who was weird. And it's like, no, you shouldn't fucking know that shit. I don't know any of my fans' fucking addresses or shit.
He's all in He's all in for Rumble, and he's always bragging about it. He's this nuts with his fans on there, and then the Rumble contract comes up again, and renegotiations did not go as planned.
Well, yeah, because he's pissing it all into the wind. Why would Rumble want to keep giving him good money? They thought he was the Johnny Depp guy, and then it turned out he was a fucking idiot.
Turns out you shouldn't give people money without giving them a schedule to work with.
Well, yeah, they did that to one of those guys. I don't remember who it was, but he was talking about wanting to kill himself because they had him on like a schedule to. I think this was Twitch, not Rumble.
Oh, Ice Poseidon.
Yeah,
because they wanted him to have a bedtime.
Yeah, a bedtime and a wake time. And when he was on like a trip to Japan, they forced him to record, and he's like, "I want to fucking kill myself." Nick Rekieta could never handle that. He could never be forced to do a schedule. And I think the problem is, and I think we should start wrapping this up. The problem with Nick Rekieta is he can never fall far enough because he always has a level of security. He has his status as a former lawyer. He has his wealth from his parents. He has support from his parents. He has plenty of connections that he can always fall back on. He'll never get to the point to where he hits rock bottom. Someone like Ethan Ralph, if he fucks up his life, he has to run off to Mexico. Nick Rekieta doesn't have to fucking do anything. He's just gonna run off to Las Vegas and live in a casino for the rest of his life, ironically enough.
Yeah, his current situation, I think, probably, would definitely fill a show all on its own. And it is there's moving parts with it now because there's possible witness intimidation that's going on. So there are more felonies that could be added onto this.
And he keeps talking about his current court case publicly over and over and over.
Yeah, and he's already looking
again.
at like possible 26 years.
Yeah. And he won't take a plea deal because he's insistent on winning. His fucking claims and appeals keep getting rejected. He's fucked. He's fucked. Like, his parents are gonna have to pay like $500,000 to fucking get him out of this. Because he keeps digging the hole deeper. It's not even serious charges that he has. It's just, it's going to get serious because he keeps pissing off the judge. He keeps pissing off the judge. He keeps pissing off the court. And you get what you fucking deserve. Like, you play dumb games, you win dumb prizes. And that's Nick Rekieta, like, fully. Like, he doesn't realize that he's not the main character. He's not gonna pull Phoenix Wright and be like, objection! No, you're just going to piss everyone off in the room because they actually are smarter than you, and they actually are real lawyers. And you're going to get fucked into the dirt.
And the only people they has left are Aaron's trolls.
And Senor
Imagine.
Ethan Ralph.
Well, Ralph he hasn't been like
But now
doing
he's gotten
stuff
Ralph
with Ralph.
wanted. He's gotten Ralph wanted. We
So
have to
he's-
do a Ralph video.
So he's involved with these people. Well, are we just assuming that people know what Rekieta's in trouble with legally?
I think we said it, but I'll say it again.
No, we skipped it out.
Oh, okay. So basically, the thing that he's gotten in trouble for is that I mentioned it earlier, but I'll mention it again.
Oh, well, you didn't mention the kid having cocaine.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay. One major problem is with his defenders is people keep thinking that it's like you take like a vacuum to the kid's hair and see what's in it. No, it was a follicle test.
Yeah, basically, he got busted with cocaine, a large amount of cocaine. Then they tested his kids. One kid had it in their hair follicles, and he has been trying to deny that. He has been saying that it's a false positive. There's nothing to prove that. He's been saying that there are other reasons for it to happen. There's no other reasons provided. He's come up with 80 million copes. We could do a whole 3-hour video just documenting the amount of copes that he has around this case. And the reality of it is that him, April, and Kayla are being charged with this. And right now, he has no real legal defense to get out of this. And he is refusing to take a plea.
And this is where the thing I dropped about the second house being empty. The second house is where he has stored April now for the past few months.
She's posted photos
April
recently.
is completely isolated. Yep. There's been a big explosion of April being on the internet because April has not been allowed on the internet. When April does a court appearance, it has been remotely through Nick's office.
Yeah, you even see him
isolated.
setting up the camera.
Mm-hmm. So we are at a crossroads of what is, and Kayla has been doing things against Nick's advice. She's been following her own lawyer's advice.
Which is smart.
That was a thing it's smart, but it also makes it a toss-up of who is going to survive this, who is betraying who.
I think she's going to wait until
is
Rekieta...
Kayla being pushed out of the marriage even further?
I think she's going to wait to see how things go for Rekieta, because his case is first. So we'll know what happens to him. He's not going to plead. I think that once he refuses to plead and he gets convicted, she's going to plead. And then she's going to get out of it. And she's going to take her kids. And Rekieta might get out of it, but he'll have to pay his way out of it. We
do not know what Nick wants to do until the very last second. Because again, this is someone who always posts their paperwork at the very last second because it's funny and it's weird. As is his excuse for his reason for doing anything.
Your Honor, Kiwi Farms bad.
At the very beginning, his strategy at the very beginning was that he was the lawyer for both Kayla and for April. This was his cope through there. When he was... The last time he was the lawyer for April was when she got was a DUI, I think, or was just a speeding ticket. But he said, no, we're not going to have you pay this fine. I'm going to represent you. He didn't show up. She got found in contempt, and she's out more money. Kind of like with how poor Vic is in the hole for several $100,000 that he's supposed to give Italy.
Well,
I think payment plan on that.
I think at the end of this, we have to accept the fact that Nick Rekieta isn't a victim. Kayla isn't a victim. April isn't a victim. No one is a victim. Not even his kids are victims. The real victim is the innocent Senor Ethan Ralph. Ethan Ralph, the man who showed up to a court case and almost got assaulted. He had to lie about his identity in fear of being assaulted. Ethan Ralph, the man who is now banned from America and is on the run, a fugitive in Mexico, slowly losing all connections to the outside world, unable to see his blessed son, Xanda, and not his horrible daughter. Ethan Ralph, the
Rosie.
The man who's defending Nick Rekieta with only wholesome motives. The true
What
warrior.
was the direct quote was, "Are you Ethan Ralph?" No, I have no idea who Ethan Oliver Ralph is.
Ethan Ralph, the best of us. The one true victim of Nick Rekieta. I think that's how we end this. Remember, Ethan Ralph is the one true victim of Nick Rekieta. And legal mindset. More like legal dick sucker. But yeah, fucking Nick put on the Baldo, and then his life started to change. And he does not like where his life has ended up at. And I don't feel bad for him. I don't think anyone feels bad for him, really. And all of his Jannies are slowly drying up. And he's gonna have nothing. He's gonna have no one. And he's going to become a proper lolcow, if you don't already consider him a lolcow now. I think that is the story of Nick Rekieta.
I haven't even seen his head mod defend himself for a while. Oh, but one thing, Alyssa Clips, of course, the queen, is the one to go for if you want to see actual footage of Nick saying what he says, but he has retroactively taken away consent for her to clip his content. She has been getting struck by him. He has been very gleeful about that. So if you are not subscribed to her, please do. And so she is having to clip him through other people's reactions to him. So, but still, she is the premier source of information to go through if you are not comfortable with going to Kiwi Farms.
Yeah, we'll cover Nick Rekieta again when all this shit finally gets settled and we know 100%. If he gets arrested, I'm doing a live stream making fun of him. So we'll just wait and see. Stay tuned next time, because if I have it my way, we'll cover Senor Ethan Ralph. He got away. He got away from the squirrel mockery, but he won't get away next time.
Next time, Ralph.
Next time. But yeah, if you guys like this, I don't know, podcast, we'll call it, hit the like button. If you really like it, share it. If you want to see more, then subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and bye.
Nick put on the Baldo, life started to change, drifting off the tracks, in a haze now strange. YouTube glory went wild, head spinning round the clock, left us kids and dogs, searching for the next shot. Baldo took him down the dive, drank and drug to feel alive, ignored his world, left to crave, found solace in a stranger's way. Red lights and endless nights, shadowed by a false shine, couldn't see the line between the truth and wine. Home became a memory, family faded thin, eyes on the empty glass, lost what he tried to win. Baldo